Radio guys, we are back. This is a bit of a unique one. This is a Back to Me podcast / YouTube video combo. It's like a 2-in-1. As you may or may not know, my YouTube channel now is really focused on the entrepreneurship, the business development, the high performance, and the mindset for business. Back to Me podcast is all about the clarity, the awareness, the mental and emotional freedom, spiritual freedom, all of that. But this video really applies to both. So if you're watching this on the podcast on Spotify or iTunes or on YouTube, you can also jump over to my personal YouTube and watch this on my YouTube channel. And if you're on YouTube and you like kind of what we're talking about here, you can also go and check out the podcast, Back to Me with Aidan O'Brien. And that's a deeper, reflective look at yourself. It's about letting go. It's not about adding things on and trying to get more. It's about letting go of what's not you so you can be left with what is you. But this video is really, I think, the perfect video to end the year and to start the next year. And it's the only mindset you need for 2025. Because there's a couple of key points in here that if you apply, it will fit in everything you're doing. It'll improve your relationships, it'll improve your business, your money, or your career or job. It'll improve everything. Okay. And, I kind of call them the 5 C's here. I love a bit of alliteration, as you know. But by the end of this video, you're going to have a really strong mindset. You're going to have clear instruction on what you need for a rock solid mindset and an immovable mindset and a mindset to achieve everything you want to achieve next year. Okay, you need to have a mindset that's immovable. You have to be rock solid, self-reliant, independent. That's what you need to really walk your own path, to create the life you want, to walk away from what's not serving you, to run towards what is serving you. It all starts with the mindset. It all starts with your psychology, your attitude, the frame, your mindset. So I'm going to give you 5 C's today, maybe even 6 C's. Maybe we'll do 6 C's. Let's go all in for you to really create all aspects of your personal and professional success in 2025. So you ready for it? I hope you're ready for it. Comment below if you're ready for it. So the first one is the curiosity to seek. Okay, this is so important because so many people are stuck because of the conclusions they make. They just keep making conclusions. If you've been here a while, conclusions, closed doors, questions, open doors. People stop seeking. They lose curiosity, and curiosity leads to clarity, and clarity leads to confidence. You've heard me say it a million times, and I'll keep saying it because curiosity leads to clarity. Clarity leads to confidence. You don't have confidence because you don't have clarity, and you don't have clarity because you keep making assumptions of how things you think things are the way they are because the way they are, but they're not. They are the way they are because you've accepted them as they are. You haven't questioned. You stop seeking. Most people stop seeking. They get in a job, they stay there a couple of years, and they stay where they're at. They look left and right. They get ideas. They look at starting their own business. They spend time on YouTube or reading books. They get excited for a minute, and they never follow through. They never take action. By the end of this video, you're going to have steps to take action, okay? So the first thing you need to have is the curiosity to seek. And I want you to write all these down. I want you to write these down. Curiosity to seek is massive. You have to be curious. Stay curious. Keep asking questions. That's why I became a professional coach back in 2014. I love the philosophy of asking questions. Most people stop asking questions. They make conclusions. And if you keep making conclusions, the less alive you're going to become. Okay? Conclusions are like death by installments. The more conclusions you make, the less alive you become, the less imagination you use, the less questions you ask. It's a disaster. So that's the first C. You got to get curious. Okay. The second C is clarity. You have to fall in love with seeking the truth. I have a whole other video on this, falling in love with the truth. It's not enough just to look for truth and to say, I want truth. You have to fall in love with discovering the truth. And only when you fall in love with truth can you really begin to let go of all the illusion, all the lies, all the stories that aren't real. You have to fall in love with truth. You can't have anything without truth. You can't have success without truth, lasting success. You can't have love without truth. You can't have health without truth. You can try and trick yourself, trick your mind, trick your body, trick your customers, but you'll always fall back down. You'll always fall through the hole. You'll always end up in trouble. Truth will set you free. Truth will give you energy. Truth will give you strength. Okay, it's your truth. It's God's truth inside of you, what you've been blessed with, who you're meant to be. And that's your gifts. You have to find your gifts, find your alignment, create your lane. Stop trying to fit in other people's lanes. What is your lane? And you'll only find your lane when you seek truth. Some of you guys are doing jobs just for the money. Again, there's no truth in that. You're just doing it for the wrong reasons. That's why you're burnt out. That's why you're frustrated. That's why you can't sell effectively. That's why you can't speak effectively, or you can't be a person of influence. Okay, make sure you check out my video on becoming a person of influence, because your ability to move people with language is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. But you can only do it if it's from a place of truth. Okay, so I want you to really think about that clarity of truth. Are you seeking the truth, or are you buying into your lies? Okay, so the next is, so first, again, curiosity to seek, very important. Clarity of truth. Okay, you have to find the truth. And then confidence of self is the next one. Confidence of self. You have to get to know yourself. And this is directly connected to the clarity of truth, because without the truth, you can't know yourself. And most people don't know themselves. Everyone talks about self-love. I always say you're miles away from self-love. Let's start with self-like. So how do you begin to like yourself? Well, you begin to like yourself when you begin to trust yourself. And you can only trust yourself when you know yourself. And you only begin to know yourself when you start asking questions, when you start seeking the truth, when you fall in love with truth. Okay, so confidence of self is beginning to know who you really are. What are your values? What do you stand for? Okay, you have to get clear on what you stand for. If you don't know what you're standing for, you'll fall for anything, right? If you don't stand in your truth, you're going to be betraying yourself. So you have to get to know yourself first. Then you get confidence of self. Then you start to think, this is who I am. Confidence of self means I don't need to convince you of anything. Okay, I don't need to convince the world of who I am. I know who I am. You should know who you are in you. I know who I am in me. Do you know who you are in you? And I remember when I didn't know who I was, you're always trying to convince everyone of who you are. And you're trying to convince yourself of who you are. But if you don't have that clarity and that truth, you're falling into someone else's lane. You're trying to build a house on someone else's land. You have to find out, what's my land? Okay, where am I supposed to build? What am I supposed to build? Who am I? What's my mission? What are my gifts? How do I serve? That's what you have to ask. And then once you know your values, you'll attract other people that match those values. For example, if you're looking for a relationship, so many people end up in wrong relationships because they don't have their values clear. You have to seek your values. You have to discover what's important to you. What are the values in your life? And you do that by looking at things that were missing in the past from other relationships or other jobs or other interactions, other friendships. What was missing from there? Because you'll see if it felt like something was missing, then you know you want it going forward. So the past is always great for giving you contrast, showing you what you want and showing you what you don't want. So confidence of self is huge. And when you find that confidence, it's silent. The people who are loud, talk too much, talk loud, talk too fast, use big words, big stories, everything's a big show. That's not real confidence. True confidence is silent. Okay, true confidence is silent. So find that true confidence. I call it the confidence to be yourself. What's the third C in the mindset you need for 2025? The next is certainty of speak, certainty of how you talk, certainty of language, certainty of communication. Okay? You have to have certainty, because everything you want other people have, and we only buy from people, whether it's not just financial things, but we buy ideas, we buy concepts, we buy philosophies, we buy vision when there's certainty. Because without certainty, we're not going to follow someone without certainty. We've been trained since we're very young to look up to authority, and they usually portray certainty. When you go to the doctor, they have certainty. Okay, when you talk to a teacher, they usually have a good one. They should have certainty, but they have certainty. You want to follow people who have certainty. When you're going buying a product or a service, you're not going to buy from someone who's unsure themselves. You have a car salesman, and I think this goes this speed. I'm not sure, but I think it goes 150 or 200 or whatever it is. Or I think they have 6 gears, or I think it's manual. I mean, if they didn't have certainty, you wouldn't buy from them. If your pilot didn't have certainty, you wouldn't feel so good in the air. Okay, if your doctor didn't have certainty, you wouldn't believe what they tell you. So we're conditioned to seek certainty, but yet we don't have certainty. So the most important certainty, again, comes from the clarity, right? Comes from the confidence. Once you have that, you can have certainty. And then once it comes from your business, your product, your service, obviously you have to have massive levels of expertise, knowledge. You have to demonstrate that you're an expert, and you do that with your levels of certainty. So again, to move people, you have to have certainty. And this is part of your mindset. You know, it's a desire to seek certainty, to become a person of influence. And you have to have certainty to become a person of influence. It's so important. So I really want you guys to focus on that. What happens, by the way, if you're not good at speaking yet, or you have fear of talking to a crowd, it generally comes from speaking about a topic that you don't have certainty on. Because when you talk about what you love to talk, what you love in your life, you'll talk about it all day. But then you have to go to work and talk about something that doesn't light you up. You're wondering why you don't have certainty. But also, if you don't have the skills you need. Okay, so if you're in a business or you're an entrepreneur and you're in a company and you're trying to sell something, but you don't have the skills to communicate it effectively, you lack certainty. It's just simple as that. You can't have certainty if you lack the skills. Or if you're in a new field, so a lot of people, they leave their job and then they go to a new field, but they don't have the knowingness yet. They have borrowed knowledge. So I believe when you start something, you have borrowed knowledge. And then when you implement and you live consistently, repeatedly, it becomes knowing. So how do you go from borrowed knowledge to knowing? Implementation. Okay, implementation. Repeatedly doing the thing, staying in the doing. That's how you get to knowing, and that's how you get certainty. So maybe you're lacking certainty because you're not walking the path, you're just talking about it. Okay? The fifth C then is commitment. Commitment to act. Commitment to act is so important because, again, like I just said, and all the points are connected to the point before it, right? You can't have the certainty unless you repeatedly do the thing, unless you walk the path, unless you go forward, unless you implement, unless you execute. So you have to make a commitment to act no matter how you feel. Because the number one reason we do anything is because we feel like it. Like before actions come feelings. So if you're in sales, like a lot of people hate making sales calls. But when you feel like doing it, then you make sales calls. When you feel like following up, then you follow up. When you feel like going to the gym in the morning, then you go to the gym. So what a leader and what a high performer does is they don't wait for the feeling they come. They condition themselves to act. They let the belief, I often say belief comes after the action. Like when I ran the marathon, I didn't believe I could run a marathon until I ran the marathon. After I ran the marathon, then I had massive belief that I could do it because I was like, I did it already. But if you asked me before the marathon, I wouldn't have the certainty that I could do it. But sometimes people are waiting for the certainty before taking action, before asking the girl out, before applying for the job, before starting the business. Okay, so the certainty comes from the action. Don't wait for the feeling to come. The feeling comes after the action. Let the action come first. Condition yourself this year that I act first. Be a visionary. Say yes first, figure it out later. Take the leap first, figure it out afterwards. Okay, and it helps when you create a deadline. So when I work with clients, we always create a season. 30 days, 60 days, 90-day season, a year. We put a plan together over the course of a year, how we're going to do things. And when they know there's a deadline, it helps them take action faster. When they know there's an outcome coming at the end, a clear promise, they'll take the action. That's why, the first thing I do with a lot of clients is create that vision, that clarity, because you need something that's going to pull you forward. You want to be magnetized, something that's going to consume you. And when you do that, you get anchored into action on a daily basis. Some of you guys aren't anchored into anything because you've no vision, you've no clarity, you've no awareness. You're just in chaos. Okay. So you want to condition yourself to commit. You want to have resolve. That means nothing. It's being immovable. Nothing can move you out of the way. No party, no birthday party, no match, no game, none of this propaganda distraction machine that the world gives you every day to keep you living outside of yourself, to keep you living small. Nothing keeps you away from that truth. Once you fall in love with the truth, once you have certainty, once you have confidence, once you have commitment. Okay, so that's the fifth C. You got to commit. You got to show resolve. You got to say, no matter what comes, no matter how the wind blows, I'm going forward. Doesn't matter how the weather changes, I'm going forward. Doesn't matter rain, wind, snow, shine. Doesn't matter. I'm going forward. Doesn't matter if my belief is there. If you struggle with beliefs, watch the Falling in Love with Truth video. Okay, learn to question your beliefs. Don't believe your beliefs. There's lies in your beliefs. They're just familiar. There's not truth in them. There's just comfort in them. Okay. So the sixth C, we give you the sixth one. I think the sixth one's key. It's important. The sixth C is the creativity to adjust. Okay. So, you know, one of the things, there's a lot of people out there, they make a decision and they go forward, they run fast forward, but they become rigid in the process. You want to be rigid in the vision, in your commitment, but not rigid in the process. You have to be adaptable. You have to be flexible. And one of the things I love with my one-to-one business clients and my executive clients, when they come to me before we start, I tell them, you have to let go of I know. You have to let go of everything that you've collected to this point. Only when we need to use it, we'll borrow from it. But you have to come in with a beginner's mindset, being a student of yourself. That's the only way it's going to work. Because what I need you to do is be willing to adjust and to be adaptable. Because what we don't want is to keep walking a path that's not the right path. And that's the mistake most people make, is they keep running down a path and they think, as long as I'm running, I'm good. But it's not good, because you're running down the wrong path, or you're carrying the wrong things with you. So you're not running fast enough. And because you've other people trying to tell you which direction to go, it's not the right direction, only you know. Or you've the fears and doubts which make you stop every 5 feet. Okay, so you need the creativity to make adjustments. I call it trust and adjust. Because once you trust yourself, once you have the confidence of self, you know yourself. Again, like we said earlier, like I love this stuff. Like, it makes sense, right? This is fun stuff. Because when you know yourself, you know you can make the adjustments. Don't be over rigid with the process. Don't say, well, it's all I know, so I'm going to keep doing it. That's not going to serve you. That's not going to serve you. So this is the mindset, guys, for success. Curiosity to seek, clarity of truth, confidence of self, certainty of your communication, of your language, of how you speak, commitment to act, and the creativity to adjust. Which is your favorite? Let me know in the comments which is your favorite C, which is your favorite key to the mindset. Which one do you need to do the most? Which are you missing? Let me know in the comments. If you're watching on Spotify or iTunes, you can comment as well, or come over to Instagram at Aidan O'Brien Official and let me know. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. Okay, because it gives me feedback for what's resonating with you. I only want to give you what's resonating with you. I only want to, like with coaching, I only seek the people who are seeking me. I'm not trying to convince someone who's not here, who's not on this side, who's not with this awareness. So for me, guys, those 6 C's are the key mindset factors for 2025. If you can get clear on those 6 C's for 2025, I promise you'll change your whole life. Curiosity, willing to ask questions. Clarity, willing to seek the truth, to fall in love with the truth, not to believe, not to stay asleep and believe the lies. The confidence of self to get to know who you are so you can trust yourself. The certainty of speaking, of language, of communication, of influence. The commitment to act no matter how you feel, no matter what someone says or who tries to talk you out of it, or what happens to the government or the country or the economy or the climate or any other that stuff that's not relevant to you and your personal success every day. And the creativity to adjust, to know yourself enough that I'm flexible, I'm adaptable, I'm fluid, I'm loose and flowy. I'm like a branch in the wind. I'm not going to break. Okay. I'm immovable in my vision. I'm immovable in my commitment, but I'm flexible and adaptable in my strategy. If something's not working, I'm willing to move in a different direction. So are you ready for that? Are you ready for that mindset? Because if you're not, if your door is closed, you've made conclusions, you're going to stay stuck. You're going to stay small. I have business that come to me, they make a couple of million a year, and I say, we have to double, triple, 4, 5x that. And say, how can we do that? By all of those things we just did there. We apply those 6 C's to all aspects of their mindset, their performance, their business. And wow, I can actually 3, 4, 5x. Because then you add the skills on top of everything else here, you become unstoppable. Okay, so this is a philosophy you need to work on. You need to work through each of them. You need to spend time on each of them. and you need to get familiar with each of them. You need to build a relationship with each of these points so that you can really start to understand what makes you you. Okay. It's the clarity, it's the strategy, it's the accountability. It's about staying on the path. It's about saying no matter how long it takes, don't ask how long will it take? Ask how far can I go? If I use all these things, how far can I go? All right. If you like this video, guys, I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe. Some people have resistance to it. I don't know why. Not for my channel, because everyone likes it. All the people I might watch my videos like and subscribe. I want you to like and subscribe. Share this with somebody who's going to be who has suffered in 2024, and you want them to wake up and to shine and to grow in 2025. Send them this video. It costs you nothing. You're after getting some time, some knowledge, some information that's going to completely change your life next year, completely change the quality of your life, your relationships, your job, your business, your finances, your health, everything. Pay that forward. Okay, it's a win for me, it's a win for you, and it's a win for them. Everybody wins. But you just logging off, going somewhere else, it's not going to help anybody. So like it, subscribe to the channel so you can get way more of this content. There's loads more. If you're on the podcast, go back and watch from the beginning of Back to Me. I promise you, it will wake you up in ways you can't even imagine. And I appreciate it if you share, because my mission is to really help more people realize that they're enough already, that who they are is enough, that you don't need to go in and fall into someone else's lane. You can create your own lane, and you can remember who you truly are, and you can reveal who you truly are. And therefore you can create everything that's in your heart and in your imagination, because the truth is it's already yours. It's already done. It's in your heart for a reason. It's in your imagination. You can touch it, taste it, hear it, smell it, feel it, because it's already yours. You just have to remove and let go of everything that's in the way of you receiving it. You want to allow yourself to receive unexpectedly. And you do that by getting everything out of the way that doesn't belong. That's not truth. That's not part of who you are and where you're going. That's today's message. That's today's video. I can't wait to hear from you. I think this is an absolute banger. I think this is going to be a game changer for so many of you. And I can't wait to hear from you. That's the highlight for me, is when I hear from you when you apply this stuff. So I'll talk to you soon and see you in the next one.